Two Catholic churches which were holding morning masses against the government directive on public gatherings in the wake of the highly contagious COVID-19 in the country. The coronavirus pandemic has impacted religion in various ways, including the cancellation of worship gatherings and pilgrimage for various faiths. And as NTV's Rose Ongoy reports, religious leaders are calling the coronavirus outbreak a test of faith for the church.
For the first time in Kenya's history, churches have suspended their Sunday services across the country. The move was occasioned by the government directive to reduce social gatherings. Following a tip-off from the public, police officers today morning raided two churches in Bungoma County, which have been conducting masses every day between 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., despite an order against public gatherings. At St. Paul's Catholic Church in Kandui, the priest who was leading the mass was summoned and cautioned by the police, while the mass at Christ the King Catholic Church, Bungoma Town, was ended hurriedly, and the faithful dispersed before the police truck arrived.
Tunataka kutoa onyo ya mwisho kwa haya makanisa kwamba watii amri.
Churches and houses of worship are important anchor institutions in many communities, especially in times of humanitarian crisis. So in the wake of coronavirus, when cities are shutting down and self-quarantine is essential, religious leaders have been forced to adjust to challenging and unforeseeable circumstances.
The challenge we are facing is because we don't have the congregation present in the church. We are only missing that community, what we call face-to-face attendance.
Traditionally, religious rituals are meant to be enacted, soul and body, alongside other believers. But the present dangers of the deadly virus are too great to ignore.
The cry of the country and the cry of the world is to God to hear us and even to make those confessions very alive to God, to ask for forgiveness, not only for the individual, but for what we as human beings have done. The concerns and the fears and the anxieties to God, our living God, and to our Savior, Jesus Christ. Let us invite him to our boats, meaning to our houses.
Easter, Ramadan, Passover and other holidays are approaching, and the coronavirus will undoubtedly upend religious lives in 2020.
Why did it happen when we are in the Lenten season and also while we are waiting for the resurrection of Christ? It's like a morning time for us. It's like going to the Calvary. It's already like we are in the tomb and waiting for resurrection.
In Italy, which remains the most affected by coronavirus within Europe, the Vatican has announced that Holy Week rituals which occurred during the last week of the Lent season have been cancelled. The Diocese of Rome has closed its chapels and churches, and its iconic St. Peter's Square is empty of tourists and pilgrims. For now, churches have bolstered their digital footprints by accepting offerings online, posting sermons on social media, and hosting group meetings via video chat. Rose Ongoy, NTV.